Who's going?
Marlo.
Oh my God, Marlo. I love Marlo.
Kenya. Drew.
Kenya.
Kenya.
Really? That bitch is still alive.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, Episode 9. And before we begin, let me just quickly say that this episode showed me I do not ever want to see Kim Zolciak's face on my screen ever again.
No.
I was so irritated by her appearance, and I have never understood this obsession that Sheree has with Kim. I have always felt like Sheree low-key sweats Kim. Again, I don't understand it. I don't like it. You know how I feel about Sheree, but every time she's together with Kim Zolciak, I'm like, I really can't stand either one of y'all. Kim, why are you talking about Kenya more? Like she lives rent-free in your brain. But let's just jump right on into this recap because as you guys can see, I have a lot to say and you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up this episode with a few short scenes. We first started off with Sheree. She's getting some acupuncture and she says that she wants to go the holistic route because she has fibroids. Now, I will say, when Sheree was screaming like that, talk about, oh, it hurts, I was like, I'm surprised because I've gotten acupuncture and I loved it. I thought that it was a very pain-free experience. I think that it's all in your mind where, because they're needles, you're expecting it to hurt, but it actually doesn't hurt. I would suggest anybody get acupuncture. I love the experience. I thought that it was relaxing. I fell asleep every time I got it done. Like, it definitely was very soothing and therapeutic. So when she was screaming on the table, I was like, Sheree, you're doing a bit too much, sis, because I can assure you that acupuncture does not hurt. And I am the biggest baby when it comes to needles and all that stuff. And when I'm telling you that it doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt. And you guys already know how I feel about Sheree Whitfield, but I will give her her props that I'm glad that she is bringing awareness to fibroids because a lot of women, especially Black women, are affected. And a quick sidebar, since we're discussing fibroids, I would have loved for a certain person named Giselle Bryant on The Real Housewives of Potomac to have discussed her fibroids last season versus her going after people's husbands and lying on them like she did this last season. That would have been a worthwhile storyline and it would have helped other people. But I just said, you know what, let me get off of that because we'll be here all day if we talk about Potomac and all the craziness that goes on that franchise. So Sheree says that since she's on the holistic journey, she was told that going on a vacation decreases stress and that would help her out. So because of that, she wants to invite all the women to Portugal. Now, I said, Sheree, we all know how this works, girl. Every season, you guys go on a few trips. You don't have to make up this whole elaborate story of why you're going to Portugal, okay? We're at the halfway point of this season, and it's time for a cast trip. So spare us all this. Well, I was told from the doctor that I should go on a trip with my girls to make me feel better. Like, sis, we all know how it works by now, girl. We are 15 seasons in. Just say you want to go on a trip. We're going to skip right past this scene with Marlo talking to her friend slash manager about her date with Scotley. You guys know I don't care. And I'm not here for this fake storyline about this fake romance. I'll bet you guys $5 that somebody in production paid Scotley to go out with Marlo in the first place. And I love how you guys aren't buying this fake romantic storyline either, because you called it out in my comments in the last recap that it was pretty much an infomercial for Scotley's restaurant. So that was a way for him to pump up his business and his brand. Again, I don't care and I'm not buying it, so let's just breeze right on past it. So now we jump to Sanya at home. She's with her business partner and they're going over their charity event in a few weeks. So we learned that Sanya wants to raise $50,000 for struggling moms. And she recently met up with this woman who owns a school for homeless kids. So she wants to help that woman out. So while Sanya's excited for her charity event, she's a bit nervous and stressed out because the woman who is going to lead the silent auction, she has COVID. So she needs to find another auctioneer before the event. So her business partner suggests that Sanya calls up Kenya and have Kenya be the auctioneer. She's like, look, Kenya's very vibrant. She's beautiful. People will definitely be inclined to spend and dig in their pockets if she's up front and center. And I do agree with that because, again, we saw later on that Kenya was on point. She was getting everybody to reach deep down and give. I said, I know that's right.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
And Sonya, when you were like, Kenya? Like, which Kenya? Like, I don't know if I want to have her. And I'm thinking, Sonya, put your pride to the side because I don't think anybody else in this group has a personality to get people to give and really dig deep in their pockets. Marlo and Sheree can barely string a sentence together. Drew, I don't think that Drew has the chops for it, honestly, and that's no shade. The only other person I think who might be able to get people to spend would be Candy. But I think that Kenya is a perfect fit. And I said, Sonya, if you want your event to be a success, get Kenya on the line immediately. And Miss Sonya, we're going to talk about how your best friends, Marlo and Sheree, acted when it was time to donate money at your event. But again, let me not jump ahead. Now, this next scene definitely had me smiling from ear to ear. I am so happy for Kenya. So we see Kenya at her video shoot, and we learn that she's doing a commercial for her Kenya Moore hair care line. So we see that she has the actors there. Brooklyn is there. I said, she's just such a doll. Like, she is adorable. And the fact that she's already 4 years old, I'm like, where is the time going? Every time I see Brooklyn and Wendy's little girl, Cameron, my ovaries always start acting up. I'm like, I want a little baby girl. But that's another video and another topic for another day. And now we see that there's a surprise for Miss Kenya. We see Roy walk in. He brought Kenya food. And Kenya was so surprised. She was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Roy is always so busy. It's hard to pin him down because he owns Kale Me Crazy and he's always working. But to see him come and visit me and surprise me with lunch, like, that really means a lot. He's a keeper. I said, Kenya, I am so happy. I said, talk about an upgrade. I am here for this. Like, I really hope that they go the distance. And it looks like things are going well between Roy and Kenya because I know that Candy celebrated her birthday in what, I think Turks and Caicos. And Roy was there with Kenya.
I love it. I love it.
I thought it was really cute when Kenya was like, hey, Brooklyn, come over. Remember mommy's friend Roy? And he was like, hi, Brooklyn. Like, I was just so giddy. I was just so happy for Kenya. You can tell she really likes Roy a lot. And like I said, I really hope that it works out because Kenya deserves. She has been through the ringer in her love life and she deserves to have a handsome man who's successful and just treats her the way she deserves to be treated. So I am just here for this. And Monyetta really is that girl because she obviously knows where the keepers are at. I just said, again, Monyetta, if you know anybody, please shoot me an email. Just a word of advice and a word of encouragement for anybody watching me, but especially to my ladies, okay? Do not settle for crumbs. You deserve the best that life has to offer. And I mean that in all areas of your life, okay? Love, career, every area. So don't settle for crumbs. So again, I'm just happy that Kenya is really being loved on by somebody who seems to be amazing. So we see Roy leave. He has to go back to work. And now Sanya calls Kenya up. So Sanya's like, hey, Kenya, what's up? How are you? Are you able to help me out with my charity event next week? I would need you to help run the auction part because the woman who was supposed to do it, she got COVID. So Kenya's like, sure, girl, I'll help you out. No problem. Now, Kenya had me screaming. She said, look, Sanya seems to be a good person. She seems sweet. but this is the second time where she has asked me for a favor to promote one of her brands, and she wants me to do this for free. Like, I don't work for free. Next time, you have to call my agent, okay? And I said, oh yeah, because last season, you remember how Sanya asked Candy and Kenya to help promote her Mommi Nation sweatshirts. And they were both like, girl, what? You want us to promote your stuff for free? Like, we don't work for free. And I said this last year. I think that Sanya is a social climber and a user. Because, girl, you know good and damn well these women are booked and busy. And you guys aren't even friends like that for you to even ask her to do a favor like that. If we're being honest. And Sanya, you know who to call because you already know that your two cheap friends, Marlo and Sheree, they wouldn't be doing this for free. They'd be like, okay, girl, I mean, I'll do it, but I'm going to need like 10%. I'm leaving here with something. But I really hope that you sent Kenya a nice gift and a thank you card for having her host at the last minute and for her to do that for free. And if you haven't, it is never too late to send over a gift basket. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't have too much to say about this next scene with Drew talking to her sister and her mom. I just feel like we are 9 episodes in, and it feels like I haven't seen Drew in a whole lot of group scenes. I feel like the vast majority of all Drew's scenes so far have been either with Ralph, with her kids, with her mom, or her sister. I just always feel like Drew is sort of a side character on this show. I know she's about to come through and be the main character halfway through this season, but for this first half of this season, it feels like Drew really hasn't been that involved with the group. I don't know, is it just me? But I just felt like, again, I don't have a whole lot to say about her family dynamics and her whole bond with her sister. But I will say that I am happy that it seems like Drew and her sister Allison are making strides to be closer. We did learn a lot about them in this scene. And we finally learned the age gap between Drew and Allison, and they are 20 years apart. Now, I was like, damn, talk about an age gap. So we find out that Drew's sister was managing her career ever since she was a child. And she pretty much felt like her sister was a second mom, not really a sister. Now, I could see that because the age gap is so large. And then on top of that, your sister is managing your career and you're a child star. I could definitely see why you guys never had that sisterly bond. I'm sure it probably felt like a second parent / a working relationship. But it's clear that being in entertainment definitely runs in the family. We learned from Drew that Allison used to be a TV writer. I think she wrote for Amen. I think the Johnny Carson show. Drew named a few other shows, but I forgot. But her sister definitely had a great career. And when her sister had a mental breakdown, it really changed things. I really did feel bad when Allison revealed that she was in an abusive relationship when she was 22 and she still has the PTSD and the anxiety from that relationship. And when she started crying and said, but it's okay, I'm all right now, I'm working through it, I just want to be happy now. And when her sister revealed that, it made me think that that's probably why she never liked Ralph, because she probably picked up on certain traits of Ralph's and she could spot it immediately that he wasn't good for her sister. So I'm sure with Drew now going through this divorce from Ralph, her and her sister are probably getting even closer. This scene with Sheree Whitfield out to dinner with the ladies of yesteryear, Deshawn Snow, Lisa Wu, and Kim Zolciak. I'm not going to hold you guys. I was irritated. I didn't think that Lisa Wu or Deshawn Snow gave anything in this scene either. I was like, well, damn. Here we are 14 years later and you guys are still boring. I'm not going to lie though. I thought it was funny when Lisa Wu saw Kim and she said, Kim, I don't know if I should hug you or chop you in the throat.
You know what? This is too much.
And then when Lisa said, well, I don't hate you anymore. And I'm thinking now, Lisa, if you're that pressed and that bothered, then why'd you even show up? Because I'll be honest, Had I found out that Kim Zolciak was going to be at this dinner, I would have said, shout out to everybody, I have fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I had fun.
I gotta be good.
Sheree, you and I can have a separate dinner, one-on-one, at a later date, but I will not be sitting here with her. Lisa just said that you wanted that camera time and that check. Because I don't think that Lisa Wu has seen a TV check since Hollywood Divas. We remember that she was on that show for, I think, 2 seasons after she was kicked off of Atlanta? But again, I digress. And did anybody roll their eyes when Sheree said that she's just so happy that she's still in touch with all the women? And then she said, oh, I just have such a love and respect for all these ladies. Like, I don't even remember any of the drama that we went through in the past. And I said, okay, Sheree, well, let's talk about how shady you were towards Lisa Wu and Deshaun Snow when they were on the show in seasons 1 and 2. You weren't that nice to them. So for you to act like, well, I just love them so much, only good memories, I'm like, sure, Jan. But we know how Sheree is. Sheree doesn't own up to anything. She likes to conveniently forget how she acted. So it's par for the course as to why she wants to pretend like there are only happy memories between all them. But anyhow, Sheree now brings up their old girls' trips back in the day, and she calls Kim out because Kim would always find an excuse to not go. Now, I will say, the only girls' trip that Kim went on was in season 3 when they went to Miami and her and Nene got into that blowout fight. That's the only girls' trip that I remember Kim Zolciak ever going on. And then after that, it was always an excuse as to why she couldn't go to South Africa or go on that other girls' trip to Anguilla in season 5 right before she quit the show. But now they start talking about that. And Sheree brings up how she's going to go to Portugal with the girls, and she invited everybody. So she's like, yeah, Kim, Kenya's going. And here goes Kim talking about, oh, Kenya, that bitch is still alive. And I was like, you don't have to like Kenya, but that was so unnecessary. Like, why are you still so pressed all these years later? Girl, nobody's been checking for you for a minute. We're only talking about you now because of this whole divorce and all these money problems. But for you to say, oh, that bitch is still alive, she's alive and well. Thriving, actually.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
And what do you have going on? You're with that unemployed Uber driver who you call a husband doing nothing. But you want to talk about, oh, that bitch is still alive? Like, I just cannot stand Kim. Her attitude has always been so nasty, and that's why I have no sympathy or empathy about what's happening to her now. So now Kim thanks Sheree for introducing her and Croy and how they just love each other. Things are still going strong between them. They've been together for 11 years. And I said, oh, okay, the same man that you're calling the cops on, the same man who's calling the cops on you, the same man calling you an unfit mother, saying that he wanted sole custody before you guys called off the divorce, the same man who put your bank statements on blast, revealing your gambling addiction, and how you spent over $130,000 and left him with $760 in the account. But you guys are so in love and everything is so good, right? Okay. And when Lisa Wu said, now, Kim, what's going on with your whole house situation? Because you're in the blogs about being foreclosed on, and Kim talking about, oh, well, it's just some blog on Instagram. It's not like it's TMZ or something. Now, that answer right there shows that Kim is insane, because if it weren't true, you would say, no, it's not true at all. It's a mix-up. It's a lie. We're doing just fine. We're not going to be foreclosed on. For you to say, oh, it's just some IG blog, it doesn't matter. And also, sis, when they first reported on your house being foreclosed on, TMZ posted that story along with Radar Online. It wasn't just some Instagram blog. All this stuff is public record. So they had all the proof, all the documents showing that you guys were going through an actual foreclosure. We know now that you guys owe the IRS $1.1 million and that you guys are struggling right now and down to the last dime. So who are you trying to fool? You're better off just being honest for once in your life. It's like Kim has a very strange relationship with the truth. And if I'm being honest, now I see why Sheree and Kim get along so well, because they're pretty much the same person. Both delusional, live above their means, can't own up to anything, no accountability for anything. It's always someone else's fault. Delusions of grandeur, liars, grifters. The list goes on and on and on. But Kim, you sounded so dumb talking about, oh no, it's just some IG blog. It's not like it's TMZ or something. Baby, TMZ, Radar Online, People Magazine, Us Weekly, they all clocked your tea. You and Croy are up there in that house, bro. So now we see Sheree revealing to the ladies that she's a grandma now. She's just so in love with her grandchild. And I thought it was very interesting when Kim was like, oh, so how do you like Cairo's baby mama? And I just said, now, if that were one of your Caucasian friends who revealed that they were a grandmother, would you ask them that question? Well, how do you like the baby mama? You wouldn't say, well, how do you like your son's girlfriend or partner if they weren't married? But why did you feel the need to say, well, how do you like the baby mama? I said, very interesting. I've always peeped the coded language that Kim uses when she talks to these women. I've always noticed it and I've never liked it. So now Sheree points out that the minute Lisa Wu and Deshaun Snow were let go from the show, they were both divorced. So Deshaun says that she was blindsided. Now, that whole thing between Deshaun and Eric Snow was a hot mess. The fact that he allegedly left her for the woman that he really liked back in college, I was like, well, that's a hot mess. And the way Deshaun was obnoxious when she was on the show. She was up there talking about, oh my gosh, me and my husband are doing so well, and my husband plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we're just so rich, and that NBA money is guaranteed money. Deshaun really was doing a lot, but Deshaun was definitely on her my man flow season 1, and then immediately after they were done. So now Lisa reveals that Ed knew that she wanted a divorce and he beat her to it. I'm not surprised at all about Lisa and Ed divorcing, because remember in season 1, he had gotten cut from the football team he was playing for, and we know that football money is not guaranteed like basketball and baseball money, all right? And I remember in that second season when Lisa Wu was talking about they have to downsize and leave that gorgeous mansion of theirs to go to that smaller house, I could already tell that they were probably going to be divorced soon after. And immediately after they were fired from the show, they were done. I said, one thing about it, those money problems will have you saying, shout out to everybody. And Ed Hartwell has been a mess for quite some time, because didn't he get with Keisha Knight Pulliam, the actress who played Rudy on The Cosby Show? They were saying that Ed had Keisha all messed up. He was claiming that he was too broke to even give child support. Just a hot mess. So now Sheree wants to know if Deshaun and Lisa are dating. And Lisa, her answer made no sense. I couldn't tell if she was dating somebody, because at one point she said, well, no. Then she said, well, I do have somebody special. I said, girl, if you don't have anybody, you don't have anybody, but you don't have to lie about it, because you're not a good liar. So Deshaun says that she's been dating, and she says that so far so good. She's just having fun, and she says that dating is what you make it. I thought it was telling when Kim asked her, well, what's it like out there dating? And I said, yeah, because you already know that you're having issues with Mr. Croy, your house husband, who just drives you around with no money, and you want out. So you want to know, well, what does the dating pool look like? Because I'm about to be out there with you and Lisa. I said, Kim, you're not fooling anybody. Sheree really doesn't realize how foolish she sounds, because when she started talking about how she's dating Martell, she's like, oh my gosh, he's just such a great guy. He gets a bad rep. And I'm like, Sheree, nobody is lying on this man. We are only discussing what we have been watching for the last, 5 or 6 years? He dogged out his first wife, dogged out his mistress. He's a womanizer. He's not able to be faithful to anybody. He also has very narcissistic tendencies and does not take accountability for anything. So for you to say, well, he's a good man, Savannah, he just is painted out to be this monster, it's like, no. He's showing us with his actions who he is, and we have comments about it. Nobody is doing anything to Martell. I really hate how women coddle men. This man is an awful person. You want to sit up here and make excuses for him? Like, you sound crazy. Sheree, you're a pick-me. Like, I hate to say it, but you're a pick-me at your big age. And it's embarrassing. But then again, Sheree, I can't be too surprised because you were married to Bob Whitfield. Then you were with a man named Tyrone who was in prison. So with your dating history, it tracks that you would say that Martell is a good man. Sheree can be draped in all of the designer in the world, but I don't care what anybody says. Her self-esteem and her self-worth is in the gutter. Like, it's non-existent. Because if you feel that you are that girl, you would not be dating losers like Tyrone and Martell Holt. You clearly don't think that highly of yourself. You don't. So now Kim brings up how she saw Candy at Portia's wedding, and while they still have beef, they gave each other a hug. And she's like, all I did was just sing a song that got really popular, and I don't understand why she came for me. And I just was so irritated. Like, you take accountability for nothing. Kim is such a freaking liar. You did not just sing a song. Candy wrote and produced that entire track. She had to put all that auto-tune because you can't sing worth a damn. You made all that money, and because there was no contract signed, you cheated Candy out of that money. That was so evil of you. And if I were Candy, I'd never talk to you again either. Like I said, Kim Zolciak has a grifter's mentality. She does not do right by anybody, especially when it comes to money. How dare you say, well, all I did was sing a song. I don't understand why there's all this beef and all this drama. You're a liar and a user. I cannot stand her. I was just too done. Bravo, please leave Kim right where she's at, in that foreclosed house with Croy. We don't need to see her on our screens in any capacity. I was just too done. And also, Kim, let's not forget those nasty racist comments you made when you saw Candy's house. Talk about, oh, she lives in the hood. This is the ghetto. I'm afraid I'm going to get shot. You're black. I don't know why you would get an outdoor pool. It makes sense why you got an indoor pool. Remember all those nasty comments she made? And let's also not forget how she stole Candy's baby name. She ran out and named her son, I think, Cash. And Candy said, that's the name that I want to name my future son. How dare you act like you don't understand why Candy has some beef with you? Baby, you cheat me out of money after I helped you have a hit song and make those nasty comments about my brand new house. We will have beef forever.
And you're gonna always get it again and again and again.
So now we get to the final scene, which is the day of Sanya's Mommi Nation charity event. So we see Sanya getting ready. She's at the venue, and her sister is doing her hair. Now, mind you, Sanya's sister's in a pissy mood because Sanya did not tell her the rundown of the schedule. So she feels like Sanya's always double booking her for things, not letting her know what's going on, and she's irritated. So Sanya says that she warned her family that the next 4 days were going to be hectic. So Sanya's sister says, well, that might be so, but I have a life of my own. I have my own 2 kids to worry about. There are a lot of moving parts in this thing, and I think you forget the fact that I do a lot for you. So Sanya's sister is going on and on. She's really pissed at this point. She's like, you're pretty much toying with my life, and I don't appreciate that. So at this point, Sanya's crying. And mind you, they're having this argument in front of Sanya's business partner. Now, here's what I want to say about this. There's a time and place for everything. If Sanya's sister has some gripes and hard feelings, that's fine. Her feelings are valid. But that was not the time to air out your grievances. Your sister's already stressed about her event. It's the day of. You're in front of her business partner and vendors. Why do you want them all to see you and your sister going at it? When it comes to me and my siblings, we could be upset with each other, but in public, it is a united front. I'll be damned if I allow anybody to see me berating my siblings. No. In public, it's all smiles. We're good. We love each other to death. In private, we can hash it out behind closed doors. But I thought that was really unprofessional and very rude of Sanya's sister to sit up there and tell Sanya off the day of the event in front of other people. And I was also annoyed when Sanya apologized to her sister and her sister was still dismissive of it, like, okay, girl, like, whatever, like, I'm still mad. I was like, be gracious and accept your sister's apology. All this attitude in front of other people like that, that was so uncalled for. And while I don't like Sanya and I don't see it for her, in this situation, I did feel for her because I was like, baby, don't embarrass your sister like this. And I also got the impression that her sister wanted to purposely get her upset before her event because it's like, you already know that hosting an event is stressful. You're anxious. You want it to go well. There's public speaking, which is also nerve-wracking in itself. So for you to get your sister emotional and all upset right before she has to go and speak in front of people, that was really evil to me. Like, I don't know. I just felt like her sister did that on purpose. So we see everybody arriving. Marlo and Manetta arrive. Sheree arrives. And pretty much everybody's there except for Kenya. Now, we all know that Kenya's going to be doing the auction portion. And Sanya's like, girl, where you at? So Sanya FaceTimes Kenya and she's like, hey, girl, the event is about to start. Like, where are you? So Kenya says that she had an emergency. And then she was also confused because her and her plus one aren't going to be at the same table, and she's upset about that. So Sanya's like, look, girl, I can fix all that. I can have you and your plus one sitting next to each other at the same table. I just need for you to be here ASAP. Now, Kenya, I'm going to get on you, and you know I love you, but fair is fair. And for me, I have a thing about people being late. I can't stand it. I thought it was very rude of you and in poor taste for you to arrive to Sanya's event an hour and a half late. Had this been your event and somebody had shown up an hour and a half late, you would have been pissed. We know how you are. I understand that, yes, you are doing Sanya a favor, but when you do agree and you commit to something, you need to show up on time. That was messed up of you. I have to be honest. And you know that I don't care for Sanya like that. But I have to call a thing a thing. And I was like, girl, what? An hour and a half late? Like, come on, Kenya. So now it's time for the event to start. We see Sanya get up to speak. She says that they're there today to raise money for homeless moms and that the goal is $50,000. So as she sits back down to join the rest of the ladies at the table, we see Sheree asking Sanya if her sister's there. And Sanya says, she came to do my hair and then she left. Then she goes on to say, we'll talk later. So pretty much things between Sanya and her sister are not good. And Sanya, you might have to find a new hairstylist. So now we see Sanya get back up to speak. And now she says that she wants to honor a mom who's an OG, a mom that she respects, and a mom that makes motherhood look easy. So we find out that she wants to give this award to Sheree. So Sheree is really touched. And then on top of that, Sheree's son Cairo comes out and he gives a speech saying that he loves his mom and that she's always pushed him to be better. And Sheree's emotional and teary-eyed. She's like, oh my gosh, Cairo hates public speaking, and the fact that he did this for me, it means a lot. And I have to say, it is nice seeing Cairo come out of his shell because I remember in previous seasons, Cairo was always super shy. So to see him address the crowd in such a great manner, he was vibrant, he was personable, he gave a really nice speech to his mom, like that was really sweet. So now Sanya says, okay, Kenya, it's time for us to start raising money for the charity. So Kenya gets up, and when I tell you that Kenya did an awesome job, she really got the crowd going. I loved how vibrant she was. And then you have Marlo talking about, oh, you see Kenya in that red dress looking like the witch from the Wizard of Oz when the house fell on her. She looked a damn mess. I said, Marlo, shut up. And that red dress that you wore last season, you look like that strawberry candy that those old ladies have in church. Please don't act like you've never had a fashion miss before, because you have. So I said, again, girl, not too much. When I tell you that Kenya was getting everybody to dig in their pockets, she said, well, I know Sanya said the goal is 50,000, but we want to raise 100,000 today. So Sanya's like, girl, it's my first event. Like, let's not be so overly ambitious. Kenya was like, look, girl, it's already 50,000 at this table. And of course, she's talking about the table that Candy's at. Now, we all know that Candy is a very rich woman, okay? Those pockets are deep. So Kenya raises her paddle. She's like, look, I'm going to be the first bid. I bid $5,000. And now Candy says, okay, I'm going to match Kenya's bid. I'm also going to donate $5,000 as well. So now Drew stands up. She wants to donate $5,000. Then we see Manetta stand up. She also wants to donate $5,000. So I thought it was very telling that we didn't automatically see Sheree and Marlo lift up their paddles. Kenya had to damn near force Alligator Arms, Sheree, and Marlo to raise their paddles up. And I want to know, Kenya, did Marlo and Sheree write a check at the end? Inquiring minds want to know. But I said, for you guys to be so rich and for Sanya to be Sheree and Marlo's new best friend, they should have been the first two to raise their paddles to donate. Marlo's always talking about she wants to be a blessing to people and help people out, especially people in foster care and homeless people. So why wouldn't you, of all people, want to donate? But like I've said before, a lot of these women on this cast are pretending, i.e. Marlo and Sheree. The money is not as long as they want us to believe. We know that Sheree's been pretending for 15 years. Okay, season 1 talk about, oh, I'm part of the wealthy elite and I have money, I'm that girl. And by season 2, the house was foreclosed on, the Aston Martin was repossessed. So we know that Sheree's money has always been kind of funny. It took her damn near a decade to build Chateau Sheree. So yeah, I'm not too surprised that she wasn't too quick to lift up that paddle to donate some money. And Miss Courtney, I thought it was very interesting. You had all this mouth calling Candy ghetto, being really shady, but I see that you couldn't match her donation. You gave $2,500. And while that's a nice donation, I just knew that you, of all people, you own a crisis management firm and a jewelry line. I'm just surprised that you weren't able to match the donations and give $5,000 like everybody else. I said, very interesting. But the auction is a huge success, and we learned that they exceeded their goal. They raised $78,000. Even Sanya's like, damn, Kenya might get on my nerves. She might be a whole lot of trouble, but she is well worth it because Mama showed up and showed out. Like, she really got the people to spend. And I said, yeah, Kenya did the damn thing. Despite her being an hour and a half late, she definitely did that. But Sanya's charity event is over, and now we see them all walking out, and they're talking about the Portugal trip and how excited they are. So now we see the mid-season trailer, and when I tell you that this second half of RHOA looks like it's about to give us something, and I'm actually excited, it's clear that Drew is going to be the MVP and the main character for the rest of this season. I'm actually excited to see some real storylines in this second half. But yeah, guys, it was a cute episode. I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to seeing them all on this Portugal trip. But guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.